a lot of fun stuff and some not so fun stuff set to occur possibly here in our finale. And I'm interested to see how it ends up going. We're going to have a date, I'm assuming, between Tsomi and Yuki with a place of her choosing. Likely would be some place that either means a lot to her that she's been to before and wants to kind of expand him into her world a little bit more and let him understand, what it is that makes this so important for her, or it's just something that she's always wanted to do and always wanted to go to, and them being together, it would make perfect sense to make that a special place because it's that special memory that you can now share with somebody. On the other side of things not so fun, possibility of things going really bad between Shin and Emma. We have to finish this conversation and see how she handles all this news and how she takes these things and what her thoughts are, and I'm kind of nervous. I just feel like we're going to need a lot of time. I feel like we're not going to get any immediate answers there, but it's almost, I feel like, expected for that's going to happen. That's just how I'm feeling, so we'll see, and then we'll see if there's any progression between Rin and with Kyoma, and I don't know. I feel like we could just drop that randomly. They're in a position that they could just start dating literally tomorrow if they wanted to. So we'll have to see what happens. Who knows? We're praying for the girl, but I guess no promises that things are going to go well. So if you like it all, like and subscribe. They do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Feel free to also stick around after the episode discussion, and I'll just give some overall thoughts and feelings about the series as a whole. Leave any comments with this episode or series. Let's get going, though, with our finale of A Sign of Affection, episode 12. Sure, I can pick. I want you to pick.
私がいつおみさんと行きたいところはこれなんかどう？カレーフェス特集。
Ah, I don't know if that's the vibe, but I guess it depends where it is, right?
どう楽しませれば
That's true. How do you make it more interesting for that?
デートはこの前写真見せた動物園だけだよ。あとは
I mean, that's good.
そんなに悩まなくてもいつおみさんならどこでも楽しさ見つけられそうじゃない？
Right. Also, you're there. That's really right.
初めて会った時のことなんか思い出して、あの時も電車の中だったなって。たまたま同じ電車に乗ってたけど、
Yeah, a chance encounter. Look what came out of it.
同じ目的地に向かってる。
Aren't you so lucky? Also, it's a big surprise for him. I like those. Yeah.
今日の目的って写真撮影？
I mean, yeah, we're gonna take some. I love when she like runs and like speeds up and she's very happy about it. Look how pretty she looks. What's prettier than a girl in a field of flowers with the wind blowing?
こういう瞬間のことを言うんだろうなって今
Mm.
思った。
そういやユキ、さっきも花の写真撮ってたよな。
景色とか食べ物も好きですけど、花の写真を撮るのが好きなんです。
Cool.
アジサイが雨を吸い込むように咲いて、
I mean, you know your stuff.
待ち焦がれてたみたいにひまわりが堂々と咲いていって、花たちが季節を順番待ちしているみたいで可愛くて。
これがユキが見てる世界か。スマホ貸して。
We're gonna take a selfie.
藤井綺麗に入っかな。
一緒に写真。
2、1な。3、2、1。
Nice. Nice.
おお、うまそ
Does she pack it for us?
う。ああ、王子。あいつ元気？びっくりしただろう。もう仲いいからな。
Yeah.
本当
No.
に？いやこれ絶対いつおみさんのマイペースに王子くん振り回されてる。
今度あいつんち行ってみ。
You do? I wouldn't want to.
でこいつ連れてきてんだよ。
Yeah, we're better off avoiding
家は
that.
さすがに
Yeah,
難しいんじゃ。
let's take it a bit slower.
それ難しいって手話か。あの合図でチューしてって言ってんのかと思っ
I was moving in.
キスってこんなところで。
It's okay. No holding back this time, Yuki.
やっぱ流れおかしいよな。
キスされそうだった。
I like him stopping there and just still having his head like all pressed up against hers.
ダメって意味です。
そうなんだ。
いいねはこうで、こっちはダメです。
野球のアウトと同じ動きか。
Yeah.
ここでキスは恥ずかしいですけど、
Mm.
くっついてはいたいんで。
Slowly. There you go.
前、ユキが言ったけど、俺もユキなら
Everything's good. Yeah.
いいよ。
Whenever you want.
遠慮とかすんなよ。
Right.
なんだそれか。知りたいなら教えるけど。
We're close enough now. Yeah, I can tell you.
本当に長文だ。
よしっと。今日時間ねえし、帰ってみとけな。
そっか。
せっかくだし、ボートでも乗る？
Yeah, perfect.
取った？
すみません。全部いいよってど
Mm.
れほど嬉しかったか。思い出すと感情をこらえなきゃいけないぐらいで。
Yeah, but that's that's fun for him. He loves your reactions.
ぐらで余計心を揺さぶられる気がして、涙目になりそうなのはしゃいでごまかしてたよ。
なあ、俺とミトキどっちが好き？
Neither.
なんだその顔。この前素直になりてえって言ってたのは王子だろ。
Yeah, what happened to that, buddy? Come on.
思って言ってやったんだぞ。
もっと他にねえのかよ。
女だろ。
Wow.
気にしない？
I was just trying to fuck with you.
なあ、教えろよ王子。どんな子なんだよ。
素直になりてんじゃなかったのかよ。
うるせえ。
Yeah, not with you guys.
まあその
More with myself.
可愛い子だけど。
She is.
お仕置きが素直になった。
誰だよ。あの補聴器な。
Nice. They know. What do you mean it's not?
にまだ返事できてないんだっけ？
Uh,
急なことすぎて自分の気持ちの整理もついてないし。相手は急でもないんだろうけどね。高校の頃からの
Right.
片思いか。
it's been agonizing over this for how long now? Like,
エマもシンくんも。長い間お互い同じように悩んできたってことでしょ。
this is what I said last week.
大事なのはあれからよりこれからじゃない？まだ時間かけてていいの？
Okay, I never said that they had to rush it. I said it was going to take her time. But the other stuff,
ちゃん来てないな。
you know, she's avoiding you.
仕事忙しいのかな？
Some stuff happened.
なんだよ。二人何かあったな？何があったか知らんけど、早くまた店来てくれるといいな、エマちゃん。
そうですね。
Oh, that would have been perfect for her just to walk in. You're good, you're good. Oh.
すいません。ちょっと今の人めちゃくちゃかっこよくない？すっごいかっこいい。乙女の反応。そうだよね。かっこいいもんな。
Yeah, aren't you lucky?
落ち着いて見れる時に見ようと思っていたら夜になってしまった。
Got this, Yuki. Like you said, you got nothing to worry about. You're good, you're good.
ドイツへ移住したのは6歳の頃。最初は旅行気分で 何もかもが刺激的で楽しかったけど、
Right. It's all so new and different.
いつおみ学校はどんな感じ？
みんな何言ってるかわかんねえ。
本当は日本に帰りたかった。だけど父親の前じゃ言えなかった。情けないって思われたくなかったから。
Hmm.
ベア、バス、バン、ボーヒン、バルム。Hey! Das ist meine! Danke! Tschüss!
Oh.
待って！イェイとは
Language used as the form of communication.
Was? あ、俺も
Hmm.
そっか。
Confidence, brother. Alright. Alright, join in. But it's a lot for him, I get it.
Komm schnell!
The moment he fell in love.
言葉が通じた瞬間、嬉しくてたまらなくて、本で覚えるんじゃなく、誰かと話すために使いたい。
Hmm.
そう思うようになってから、言語を学ぶのが楽しくなっていった。
Yep. Speak with any and everyone, no matter what.
待ってるから早く学校行きたいんだけど。
そう。
Your
そうか。
friends.
ごめん、急ぐ。
歯磨いてくれ。
今も海外へ行く理由は、世界の国の文化や歴史、言語を知りたいから。自分の好奇心でもある。そして、子供らに教えていきたい。
Cool.
いつかその知識が盾になる。
ぶれない志があって、も
Hmm.
うそこへ進んでいってる。これがいつおみさんなんだ。
It's a great thing, and then it makes you almost question yourself too, though, unfortunately. Like, what am I doing?
私、いつの間に
今日写真撮るのに夢中で、全然こっち見ねえのな。
Yeah, what is wrong with
だ
you?
った恥ずかしい。
This is a special moment. Oh.
2、3時間でも時間合わせて会えばいいって言ったけど、本当は10分でも5分でも会いたい。
Hmm.
自分でも不思議なくらい、ユキに出会えて、知りたいことばかり増え、
That's what happens.
どう感じているのか、何が心を動かして、どう響くのか、俺がユキに何を与えられるのか、全部、俺に教えてほしい。ユキの、すべてが愛おしいから。
Awesome.
って言葉を次から次に。
Hmm.
いつおみさん、こんなのどうしたらいいの？どうして私にここまで言ってくれるの？いつおみさんを知っていけたら、きっと。
もっとユキを知っていけたらきっともっともっともっと好きになる。
Cool.
ユキ
And she's off.
窓かユキの様子
Let's go, Yuki. There you go, brother. That's a step. Oh. 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 My God. Hmm. Awesome. It all comes together. And just like the first meeting afterwards, right? Except she needs to get some money. she needs to still save it. I don't want to be the guy, but do I have to ask the question? I think I have to. Did they did they just speed run through a lot of the stuff to come in the manga to fit it in and make the ending feel better than I likely should have? Meaning that they gave up all hope on themselves for another season. I feel like that happened. I find it like so hard to believe that that stuff montaged itself through the manga at some point without developing it a little bit more. I just don't believe it. And if that happens, that's crazy. The timing worked out perfectly for it, but I just don't believe that. I feel like they really were just like, you know, we're not doing another. Let's speed through and give everybody like satisfying things. You know, it leaves them a little open-ended, like how things are gonna really turn out with Shin and Emma. But like you already kind of know, it's they finally took that step. You see with Rin and Kyoma, it's like, I mean, Rin and Kyoma doesn't bother me as much because I fully expected that to be the case. Like they would just be able to jump into it. We really didn't need to like do like a full development or anything. I just feel like there probably was more. And same thing, I guess, with Shin and Emma, but at the same time, I guess she came to her like conclusion basically of like, I should probably just do this. Like, what am I waiting for? So I guess maybe they didn't, but at the same time, I feel like they did. I don't know. I feel like they just sped through it all just to do that, just to give the viewers some satisfaction for everything else, you know, and then the rest of whatever you want to go and see within the story probably picks up and continues afterwards. That'd be my guess. And I think I'm not too angry about that at all, to be honest, just because it ends it on a good note. I'm just curious if that's exactly what they chose to do. Because if so, then that shows me that they do have no intentions of even considering another season. And then I likely can just go read the manga and just see like how all that stuff got built up to actually come, which like ultimately like, you pretty much knew was going to happen at some point. So I'd be interested in doing that. But if that's not the case, then I don't know. Then I guess I'll just wait and hold out hope. We'll see. Overall, the episode's interesting. It's really like great for what it's trying to say and develop and showcase between our main two characters and each of them, like their own thoughts and like feelings and how they've kind of changed and developed and care for each other and a whole bunch of stuff throughout this. Something about it just doesn't feel like right to me. I don't know what it is. It's extremely cute. Everything was like done well. Maybe it was just because I felt the actual content within it didn't warrant too much of a reaction possibly out of it. So for me, I'm left feeling a little like weird because I feel like usually I have a little bit more to say throughout the episodes, but I felt like I was just kind of being like a little silent throughout this. So maybe on further reflection, that's not the case. That it's like it's only me feeling weird because of that. I don't know. Because a lot of it's literally just follow them on the date, which is in a really beautiful location where the two of them get to spend time together. And ultimately we kind of just get to, you know, advance the idea a bit more where Yuki understands that he literally doesn't care like where they go or what they do or anything, you know, as long as he gets to see her, whether it's, you know, a few hours or a few minutes, just the idea that he, you know, has this person that he can talk to at any moment, that he can see at a certain time, you know, and he feels a certain way when he does, is that special, that sort of connection that like you absolutely anybody literally would die for and absolutely cares for. So it's like such a special thought for her to be able to get into her head, and it's probably the same thing for her. It's just something that she never was able to really put into words or anything either. So I don't know. Let's just go through the episode. We'll pick and choose a little bit. Basically figure out, where do you take somebody on a date? Where do you go with somebody who goes absolutely everywhere, who's seen so much, who's like done so many different things? Where do you go with them to make it not boring for them or make it interesting and get them excited for the thing? And that's the problem, right? That goes towards what I just said, though. She doesn't realize in this moment, it doesn't matter what you do or where you go or any of that stuff. He's going to enjoy himself because he can see you enjoying yourself. So go somewhere that you want to go. And if you don't have anywhere you want to go, it doesn't matter, because as long as he gets to be with you, he doesn't care and he's happy. And honestly, that's how it really is. You know, that's how I feel. I could care less, like in life, anything that I do. You know, if I'm with the person I want to be with, That's literally the only thing that matters. Like, that's all I would care for. So I'm literally the same as him in this situation. It's like, I don't care. We can go to the coolest place ever that I want to go to. We can go to any place that you want to go to as well. It does not matter. As long as like we're experiencing that together, and then I get to see either you enjoying yourself, or we can try and enjoy ourselves together, or we can just like, maybe we have the worst time ever, but the fact that we're able to be together and experience those things like together and create that memory as a result of it is like the ideal thing, right? That's kind of the only purpose and only reason behind this and wanting to go and be with this person. I like how we get a lot of shots throughout the episode of like this reminiscing almost the first like meeting and interaction that we kind of had with each other. We get another later where we're across the street from each other and we're waving at each other in like a similar fashion to how we were when he ended up returning from his trip that time. Like there's so much things like that, I don't know, that we can kind of play off of that are so like you can reminisce on those moments. I love Yuki just like getting so pumped up and excited to like show him this and like run around and go see this place, and I think that's fantastic. Really pretty like backgrounds and everything, and it's definitely beautiful. But the highlight of it all is him being able to watch her kind of just run through, and the pure like just joy on her face of the moments that she's in. Completely breathtaking. I love how like it's a flip on both of them here. He sees her and it's like he's completely lost in this moment. He takes a picture. We don't get to notice that until the end. She looks over and then notices him looking onwards as well, and she feels the same exact thing. Even making that note of like, this is what it's like when they're like, oh, something took your breath away. Like it was literally just that. We get to see all the different beautiful pictures and everything that she takes, and all like how important kind of a lot of this stuff is to her. And actually, you know, how knowledgeable and everything that she is in these moments. I love being able to take a picture together, really cute, and finally getting one. I also love this, just the because I can't actually count it down, so you know when I'm going to do it. I guess I could just put the phone in front of you, but let me like literally throw my fingers up right in front of you and make sure that you're aware of like what's happening, so you can be prepared, which is great. We end up having a cute little lunch together, which I love too. Him being like overly interested in Oshi is fucking stupid. But I love that. We got to keep a little distance between the two of them too. Yuki being so nervous and everything as always in these moments. I absolutely love. But also just the explaining like, okay, if I really don't want to and I have a problem, like I'll literally show you all the signs of like, this is what we don't want. And then also having like the, I want to be close and have like this connection and everything to you, but in public and stuff, it can be a little much. And some people are like that. Some are very affectionate and open and have no problem putting on any sort of displays like that within public. But some people are very more privated or a bit more nervous or aware of like their surroundings and things, and they kind of just don't want to display that stuff outwardly either. So everybody has their own boundaries and things. So I think that's really cool how they have the different signs and stuff that they can work on together here, and have like different things to be on the same level and same page with each other of like what's okay and what isn't acceptable. They're both on the same exact page though, as literally everything that she wants is literally open, right? He's open to it all. He's cool with it all, if that's what she wants, which I really like. She asked him a little bit more again about the question that she asked him very early on about why he travels, and you know what he enjoys so much and all that. And basically he's like, it's long, so we'll go into it later on. Basically she doesn't read it. Now she gets left the entire time wondering what's gonna happen, like what the way that he feels. I love this too, taking the picture. You can't, he took the sneak picture earlier and you didn't know, you can't take those because he'll actually hear the click of you trying to do it, which I think is really good. Really cute little ride where they get to go on the swan boat here, which I really like. Oshi, we get to see a little bit development on his part, being a bit more open with his feelings, as it ends up coming him just like willing to, or being open enough to admit that he does actually like somebody while he can't admit who it is. We get to see later on too where he actually goes into the bookstore and he grabs the book that he looks at all the time. He's not able to make that decision ever, and he finally is able to take that step forward and do it. The slight changes that we're getting from him, the bit more being honest with himself and kind of accepting of the way that he feels and everything, which is really cool. Emma being completely like, what the fuck do I do in this moment, which I love. And thank you to your coworker here for telling you basically what the fuck you need to do. Being like, brother, you guys have been so weird the entire time. You both know that you care for each other and really like being around each other, and you know, I've been chasing after something that literally you can't have for so long. It's like, do you really want to take your time once again here? Like, just get going, which we end up getting, which I actually really like. Protection on the train. I love how she looks on. She's like, they literally have hearts in there. which is really funny. Finally goes through and she reads it, and we get to learn a lot more about him, his upbringing, the struggle that he went through of like making friends, being disconnected from everybody else, went from being overjoyed by something to experiencing all these new and cool things to then being kind of stuck in that spot where the result of him doing all this led him to not be able to be communicating with anyone or interacting in any way because he struggled to actually do it because he didn't know the language. Finally working up the courage here and being able to and asking somebody to let him join in, and how his entire world from that moment just kind of opened up, right? He no longer just wanted to internally keep all those things that he had. He wanted to outwardly kind of share those things with others and share those experiences and give it back to others and be able to properly communicate in some sort of way. That's why when he meets somebody like Yuki, he's so fascinated by her because she's entirely different from everybody else that he's really probably met before, speaking in a way that's so different, and he's so curious and wants to be open into that world so much, and he ended up just falling in love basically with a girl at that point. And we learned so much from him, which I think is great. And ultimately he just kind of leaves us off with letting her know. What was the line? It was great. Oh, he says it a little bit later. Basically though, yeah, he sent her the picture. He's a little pissed that she would look at him at any moment, so he wasn't even trying to sneak it. But then he goes in and he gives like the sweetest dialogue ever about basically like meeting you, and then whatever, he can't explain it, but there's just something about you and something about the feeling he gets around you that makes him want to do all these things and wants them to give to you and wants him to do all this. And the only way that you can kind of describe it is just let her know like everything about you, absolutely love it, and it just completely destroys her. It's like, what the fuck do I say? I like the flashing through the moments and her reflecting on, you know, all the sweet moments that they had together. And even from his perspective of thinking of the exact same types of things and kind of all coming to the conclusion here where that they would absolutely love each other so much more the more things that they get to learn about each other. And as they keep, you know, growing and growing together, they love each other more and more, which I think is, this moment's really cute. It's her showing up, being the same, like together, I think is great, grabbing the book finally. And then at this moment, Emma ends up showing up and basically she takes the initiative and ends up asking Shin out in this moment. But to be fair, I mean, that's kind of what should have happened because Buddy put himself out there and she like made him wait. So about damn time. I love his line. Like I thought fucking pigs would fly before you would actually ask me out, and him just immediately grabbing on and being like, no, this is it. It's not your typical first date, you know? It's not like a first meeting or any sort of thing like that either, you know? It's like we know what we're doing here, you know? We can rapidly speed things up a little bit. She ends up getting a ring as a gift from him, which is fucking crazy. I don't know if there's a meaning behind the type of jewel or whatever that gets used within it. Somebody can let me know, but he ends up doing that, and basically they're dating now and they're on a great page, which I absolutely love. Rin looks fucking fantastic here. I don't know what it is, dude, but there's something about the way they design her that makes me down beyond horrendous. I can't really explain it. I absolutely love her. Once again, the meeting similar to the first time when he ends up coming back, but this time she has the passport, which is cool, and we walk on together, and they plan to do so much more together, which is beautiful. Once again, just a really good episode. Again, it's more of really putting everything together that we've built up to come to at this point, and allowing our characters to fully understand and experience the things of others, but just understand each other fully at a certain point here. And so many things do come together and tie up nicely, which I think is great. It just depends on like how much they decided to skip to get us that good ending, right? If any, but we'll have to see the way that goes. The series as a whole, I think is absolutely great. I really love it. Fell in love with it the first episode. It just immediately was able to hook me in, no issue at all. And I don't even think it doesn't even have anything to do with the general dynamic either. It has nothing to do with, oh, this guy could like, he's beautiful, he could have anybody he wants and do all this, but instead he chooses this girl who like struggles with all these other people and does all this, right? Like that dynamic and stuff, I don't even care. Like it has nothing to do with that. It strictly comes from two people who are genuinely interested in each other and get completely overjoyed by being in each other's surroundings and being opened up into the other person's world and caring for them so much. On top of both of them being great people, on top of both of them not running away from things and openly communicating and discussing all of these problems and the things that they actually have. Like there's so much that gets built into making these characters so special for what they are, and allowing the story to be so great, because it makes all the drama moments not have to feel overly dramatic. It makes you not have to feel like sick to your stomach every time something goes on, like the way I kind of was when I was like witnessing the backstory and stuff, and the way that Shin feels towards Emma and stuff, right? Like avoiding all of that stuff, but just focusing Itsuomi and Yuki here, like you can avoid basically all that, because any moment that something bad goes on like that, Yuki might be bothered by it because it's her first experience realistically with all of this stuff. But at some point she would come around and she'd be like, all right, let me ask about this. Like, let me not like give him the cold shoulder and do all this for like days while I'm like stuck and don't know what to do or whatever. It's like, okay, a day went by, I cooled off, like we're good, and then we're able to talk about it. We can clear things up because clearly it's a misunderstanding and everything's all's good, right? And I think that's awesome. Being able to resolve so many conflicts with absolutely no problems like that. And also just the fact that like so many of the characters, even like in the Shin and Emma situation where things go so wrong for however much time it actually was, we end up coming to a point where, as opposed to him just kind of like being stuck in his way or something coming in between them, even after this whole situation unfolds with Yuki and Itsuomi, it's like we end up just being like, fuck it, I need to take the charge at some point and I need to do it, instead of dragging that out over the span of like 3 seasons or something like most shows would typically end up doing. Same exact thing, like the moment that while Rin and Kyomo were a little like, they could have sped along quicker if they really wanted to, and both of them struggled to really do that, but that just comes from how awkward both of them kind of end up being. We end up seeing like the moment they're able to kind of put themselves in that position together. When we went on the trip, they're able to bring themselves together and have no issue at all kind of talking these things out and letting each other know their feelings, and taking that next step, which ultimately worked out pretty well, of course, as we see this episode. So it's like all those simple things of, if we do have a problem, if there is something that we're going to build up to be some sort of like dramatic thing, there's a resolution that can come simply through talking and communicating with others, and we don't need to let these things spiral out of control and become something they're not. We even see that in the Oshi episode. We have so many problems with him and Itsuomi throughout the whole series. Itsuomi has zero clue that he feels that way about him, but then the moment that they finally have their talk, it's like, okay, this is all is good now, and we can kind of mutually understand each other, even if, you know, one of us doesn't really like the other one in any sort of way. It's like we can still have that mutual understanding. So they do such an excellent job at just presenting communication in such a great way, as a show that clearly has to play into the sign language and everything so much as well, and how important forms of communication and all these things are to a character like Itsuomi. It perfectly makes sense that, of course, we're going to narratively follow a lot of characters who can openly communicate or will work through communication to make a lot of these issues and problems work. And for that, I absolutely love and appreciate that, because sometimes you don't want something that's overly dramatic. I do most of the time. I love when things are like shitty dramas, like they're so good, they get me going. But like, especially like when romance are as well, damn, they get me going. But at the same time, sometimes you just want something a bit more straightforward. You want something a bit more simple. You just want people who care for each other and absolutely love each other, and I think that's really what we get presented here. The downfall, though, with taking that straightforward route is when you introduce side characters, you have to make your main characters the most interesting thing. And that's a problem I ran into with this series. That's a problem I've run into with series like Horimiya and other series that try and develop a lot of side stories as well. I typically fall more interested in the pairings of characters and relationships we're trying to develop that aren't the main couple. And that happens once again here. I found myself more invested in what was going on between Kyomo and Rin and what was going on between Emma and Shin as the series developed, as opposed to how interested I ended up being in the Itsuomi and Yuki relationship. And I don't know if that's because the Itsuomi and Yuki relationship immediately kind of came together, no issues, so I didn't have to feel like I was like rooting for them harder than like, because they were already together in a way, so I didn't feel that like need to attach. But at the same time, I don't know if that's the case, because immediately the moment that we all started getting together and we started to like all go out, like the 4 of us together, we ended up having me be more interested in what was going on with Kyomo and Rin. And I don't know what it was. I think it was just for whatever reason, because I really took a liking to Rin. Maybe that could be the reason. But it definitely happened where those 2 couples, I was more interested in the development and how they were going to kind of be progressed, as opposed to our main grouping, which is a little unfortunate. And that's something that happened in like other series as well that I just mentioned. So it's like, something that I think just takes away from, while your primary focus is going to be on these two characters. And I absolutely think that they're both great, and I have no issues at all with them. And it's not like I was like bored at any moments that they were on screen. It's just I was always wondering what was going on with the other characters, to a point that like I didn't care as much maybe as I probably should have, as maybe others did, about our main grouping. So I don't know. It's a little bit weird to think about, but at the same time, I guess everybody takes a liking to certain things. And other ones don't. For characters, Yuki was fantastic. Absolutely loved her. She was really fun and cute just to have on screen at every moment, and her reactions to like so many different scenes, whether she was getting extremely embarrassed or jealous over like certain things, or she was just overly excited about something. It always made for the greatest thing. She actually had like they literally drew her having the cutest smile, and that made me so happy every time that you got one of those out of her. So I was very happy about that. Also, just how determined that she is to kind of go out of her way and experience a bunch of things, and try and not restrict herself as much anymore with her disabilities and stuff, and push forward past that, I think was really admirable and really made for something that was interesting. Itsuomi's like the greatest fucking person ever, the smoothest motherfucker ever. That motherfucker does not miss. Every line he dropped was crazy. Like absolutely crazy. They're at 12 episodes, so great on him. And he basically just didn't do a single thing that I felt was wrong, so good on him. Except like he had his moments where he would get like a little close and he would be a little like creepy, I guess, if you think about it that way, but it doesn't come off that way because Yuki was okay with everything, so it didn't really matter and it was okay. So I guess no issues there at all. Like I've said, I've enjoyed the other couples a ton. Rin was fantastic. I absolutely love her. She was my favorite easily. With the little that we got, it was just something about her and her personality I thought was fantastic. Also her character design's great. Kyoma's pretty cool. I wish that we explored maybe him and things about him a little bit more, but I guess he's not the primary focus, so it didn't matter. Shin's great from what we were able to see. It's a little unfortunate the situation him and Emma found themselves up in, but Emma was also fantastic, just never really realized the things that she was doing, and you can't help the people that you fall in love with, you know? You can't help the feelings that you have inside. And unfortunately things kind of backfired, and they were like a direct representation of like the similar situation that's happening now with Oshi, of like not being honest with yourself at the time of like need, you know, and almost missing your chance, but they were able to pull things together ultimately, whereas in his situation he fucked up. He's the only character in the series I just did not take a liking to in the slightest. I just did not take a liking to. There was never any moment, and while we do at the end get to see a little bit of progression on his part, there's never a moment that I was like, oh, I feel really bad for him. Like, no, fuck you. Okay, I just didn't like him. I'm sorry. There was nothing about him. The way that he treated her, it was kind of sickening. You know, he wanted to cage her in and box her up and just be like, here, you can only, you know, you can do this. I'm the only one who can like see you or like do these things with you, or have this special connection in any way with you. And the way that others treat you, they might have all these bad intentions and do all these things. And as opposed to just coming off as like a general, like, be careful type of thing, it was more of like a, yeah, stay away from all these people and only listen to me. And I'm like, I don't know. I fucking hated the dude. I could not stand them. I think they do a good job at representing the sign language too at moments. Well, I guess there could have been more focus on it. At the same time, I feel like things might have felt like they were dragging a little bit if they did focus more on that. So I'm kind of glad with the mixture that we almost got, having the training camp at moments, having the implementation of it, and also the utilization of actually like narratively having Yuki speak to the viewer and still displaying stuff on like phone screens or whatever they're doing, and actually like showing the proper interactions between the characters and stuff, I think was pretty good. And I think that they found and they struck a really excellent balance of being able to make all that work. The animation for the show is pretty good. It's not the best thing in the world, but it definitely is like, it's a lot stronger, I would say, than most shows typically go for, especially things that are like shoujos. Shoujos typically aren't, for whatever reason, like animated too well, and they like all have like the same like color palette and like a bunch of things that they go that like give them like too much of the same feel. And I felt like this moved away from that a little bit and stepped it up, and I thought that was really cool. The character designs were all excellent. For the guys, at first I thought was really weird because their lips and everything was kind of like very prominent, but that immediately became something that was noticeable of like, we're using this as a reason because we have to use our lips as like a way for Yuki to kind of read what we're saying. And I think that worked out excellent, and actually something that you just kind of grow used to over time. Something I do wish they played around with more is the sound design. I think early on they do a great job at like bringing in and out like different space and like showcasing like the things that Yuki would hear and the experiences and things that she would have to go through. And we kind of just stopped doing that at a certain point, which is a little unfortunate because that stuff is like fun to play into. And while I guess like you have to grow through that at some point because all the viewers become pretty aware of like the way that she is, and you can't keep like caging her up and like that and just having her like experience all these things. I don't know. I felt those moments were like really well done because each scene felt like they impacted or hit a little bit more, being able to be put into her mindset. So if it was like a moment that she was the only one on screen, I wish they like played into that a little bit more as the series progressed. But it's just kind of a minor thing. The OP and ED were cool. I didn't particularly love either of them, the visuals or the songs, but I didn't hate either of them. They were just kind of there. And I think that's it, unless I'm forgetting some stuff. But I think that's kind of all I really want to touch on and talk about. But that's basically what I liked and didn't like and everything else. I'd probably give it like a pretty high 8 for its rating. I think it was really excellent, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I guess I'm hoping that you guys did as well. Thank you everybody who has supported and joined and watched any of these reactions and even made it up to this point or heard anything. I appreciate that. On this series, we definitely had a lot of love, which was pretty cool, and I love just throwing some romance on the channel, and that's going to be the plan going forward. Is I think there's a couple that we're going to check out next season. Even if they're not good, we'll give them like an episode or two, and we'll probably get them posted here and see what people are liking and not liking, and see what I'm liking and not liking, and we'll end up going from there. Leave any comments if you want me to watch some stuff in the spring. Any shows, literally doesn't have to be a romance. I don't care. Even if it's coming out even past the spring, let me know just so I can keep my eyes on it and think about. Thank you once again to everybody who watched at any point. Leave a like and subscribe. They do really mean a lot to me. Feel free to check out the other videos in the channel. Follow me on the socials and Mal and everything. All that stuff's in the description. Let me know your favorite everything about the episode or about the series. What your favorite characters were, what your favorite relationship was, maybe your favorite moment, favorite episode, any of that stuff. I don't care. I'm interested to see what people got to say. Let me know if there's anything you liked about the series, like in particular in comparison to other ones, maybe something you didn't like about it, or maybe something you wish they played into a little bit more, or you wish that they kind of avoided, or just literally anything. Give me your thoughts and opinions. I'm always glad to kind of read them. But thank you once again for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll be back for something else, and hopefully I see you there. Have a good one. Peace.